Very, boy, I didn't even have to use the gavel. Okay, today is Tuesday, May 6th. This is the regular 3:30 meeting of the Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Can we start with a pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Riddell.
Here.
Commissioner Moore.
Here.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here.
We have a quorum. Under resolutions number 1, investments.
Move to approve. Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 2, appropriations.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 3, transfers.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Number 4, advances, repayments. There were none. Number 5, requisitions.
Here we have page 1. And page 2, Victor.
Move to approve pages 1 and 2.
Second.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Casey,
Casey,
there seems to be a
there-
big
there's
number.
there's a big number in the last line.
And
Hello? Got me now? Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. Okay. So yes, I did want to draw your attention to something that we're actually really, really excited about, requisition 995 with Oracle America. So as you guys are aware, we are currently on an Oracle platform that frankly doesn't best fit our needs. It's outdated. To bring the current system up to date, it would require a lot of resources internally as well as externally from some consultants outside of the process. So we've been working diligently with the auditors team over the last. Well, this spans over a few years, but most recently on this latest project, certainly over the last several months, meeting with Oracle and their team to essentially move our Oracle operations over to a product called NetSuite, and this is a product. It's a web-based platform. It takes all our data from local servers that are housed internally to a cloud-based servers. In addition to those benefits, it will bring our operations. And I think I told you, I don't think I'm underselling this. This is going to be earth-shattering transformation for the county as a whole, as far as our operations go with our fiscal operations, both with our team internally, with the commissioners, as well as all the fiscal departments throughout the county, and most importantly with the auditors team. This change is going to make us extremely efficient. It's going to make our processes much more automated. It's going to allow us a lot more utilization of making our documents digital, workflows. I mean, it's again, I don't want to get too deep in the woods, and I don't want to come across as too excited. But this is going to revolutionize the way that our fiscal operations work here in the county, and it's something that, again, it's been a long time coming. We've been working again really closely with the auditor's office, and it's something we're really excited about and to get started. with, so.
Yeah, what excites accountants usually don't.
I think that's the most excited I've ever seen you.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Not
wanna-
only-
Does anybody want to discuss the relationship?
Tim, do you have anything that you wanna?
Absolutely, yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Oh,
come on up, come
Come
on
on
up.
up,
Sure,
to-
absolutely.
You can grab a microphone from Jeff if you want to hand it to him, or however you want to do it.
Appreciate that. All right, so I'm gonna echo what Casey said there, and we are also very excited about this. I'm excited, first of all, with the opportunity to continue the working relationship we have with the Commissioner's Office, with the Fiscal Department. As Casey mentioned, there's workflow improvements here. Processes we have now are predominantly focused on paper. Our office receives a request via paper to pay a bill that's paper. The thought process with this new system is to move to electronic. The NetSuite offers, I believe it's called OCR, Optical Character Recognition. An invoice can be scanned into their system and essentially read and populating the data that normally someone at Children's Services, JFS, or even our department would hand key, eliminating the possibility for errors. The other thing that it does is it allows the invoice itself, instead of being saved as a paper copy, it's attached electronically within the system. Just this past year, the auditor's office sent down to the basement here in the administration building about, I think it was 96 boxes of just voucher requests, all paper. That costs money to have that paper, to buy it and to print on it, and it takes up space when we send it off to the record center in about a year, and it sits there for 5 years for retention period. So the thought process is this system would allow us to eliminate that. It would make it easier for research purposes, public records requests, transparency, things of that nature. Workflow. Not every invoice comes into our office perfect. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to send something back because of an account number or missing whatever the case may be. This system allows us to essentially hit a button and send it back to whoever sent it to us for them to correct it instantaneously in real time. With the moving of the mailroom and all that, we're looking for better ways to do things, talking to Karen and Jeff previously about the mailroom changes. We want to do things electronically. This will help us do that. Casey mentioned the servers. So Oracle is currently running on a server. From a disaster recovery point of view, if something were to happen to the building that server is housed in, we'd be in trouble. With this moving to the cloud, there's no longer that concern. Obviously, there are still concerns with the servers for NetSuite, but with a large company like that, that's a little bit less our problem as it is their problem. Financial reporting would be improved. One of the other things is that there's a lot of people here who use the Oracle system that we have right now that weren't around when the system was put in place. And I think we have a lot of intelligent people within the county who have figured out how to best get what we can out of the system. But being in on the ground floor and being able to do something new is going to give this county plenty of intelligence and knowledge on this system for years to come. And hopefully will serve the taxpayers properly. So those are just a few things. I'm excited as well like Casey is. And not to mention the hopes is, from what I'm seeing, is that we can save money on an annual basis as well. So.
And I'd also like to compliment actually the working of the county commissioner's office with the auditor's office. I mean, it was a monumental task, and with the prosecutor's office to get it done to this point. But with Tim and Casey's leadership, with the leadership of you all and down at the auditor itself. But remember, we bought this old Oracle package in 2005, 20 years ago. And we're now just finally taking it to the next level, which I applaud what's going on. It is absolutely going to be amazing what they're going to be able to make it dance down on the second floor, and we're going to make it dance on the fourth floor. But it's really good that it's a fantastic thing to have the two departments working to, not departments, offices. I'm sorry, I should put $1 into the kitty
That's only for the
because I
sheriff.
called it an
That's why you're
apartment.
sheriff, don't worry. You don't know $1 here.
Yeah, I owe another $1. Does that go to the auditor now? But I just, it's exciting for us to get this done, no question about it.
One real quick thing. When Casey told me, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago that you were in 2005, I was like, wow, it's going to cost a lot to upgrade that. I don't even know how they'd upgrade it from there.
They can't, I don't think.
It's all new, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And so Tim mentioned one thing I didn't get a chance to discuss, but what was the cost savings portion of this? Obviously, with us moving to a new platform, there are going to be initial one-time upfront implementation costs, and that's what's before you guys this morning. The 200 and I don't know. 24. Yeah, that's the figure for that. However, due to the cost savings for our annual expense with Oracle going down significantly from approximately, I'm just ballpark, approximately $160,000 a year to now down to about $105,000 a year. Just on hard cost savings alone, we're looking to recoup this implementation fee in 3.5 to 4 years. That's not even taking into consideration the soft cost savings of all our process improvements, our efficiency improvements, and being able to reallocate resources to areas where are better served. So, like I said, this is a great win, and again, thank you to Tim and his team for working along this process through us, and it's really exciting.
One more thing, if I could.
Sure, Tim.
One of the things that they showed us too that I think is going to be very near and dear to the hearts of the commissioners is there's a dashboard that every department can see their budget. However they want to set that up, they can set up and see this is where you are with this line item or these multiple line items. I think having the ability to go in and see that in front of your face instead of having to physically pull a report and hopefully help people be a little bit more budget conscious when it comes to what they're spending and going forward. So wanted to bring that up as well.
Be a real-time dashboard that daily, every time they log on, they'll be able to see their dashboard. So.
Well, will all the other electeds have that, or just our departments? Okay, so is it gonna be in sync with the latest changes that we made? So that we'll be able, oh, this is gonna be awesome then. Sorry, this is like accounting geek stuff, I know, but, cause the whole concept of what we did last year is for 2024 and now this year, is that when people do come in and do requests, we'll be able to line item that, right? It sounds like it's gonna be amazing, so that if they presented to their budget, they're gonna spend $100 on one line item and they're asking for an additional, then when you come before us, we're gonna say, why are you at $200 when you said last year you budgeted $100? And we'll be able to have those type of intelligent conversations in a public hearing room, or between Casey and Tim with those departments, right? Oh, now I know why you're so excited.
Well, I think this is just another example, though, of this board is committed to not kicking the can down the road. And if we're not over, we're right where support for a 2005 system is going to disappear, and then you're really on your own. And so I applaud us that we, thank you for getting us this far, but now, let's not wait 20 years for the next improvement. So,
And like I said, that with us being web-based, those improvements, those upgrades will happen on a regular basis.
In real time,
So, yeah,
as you need it?
yeah, it won't
Okay.
be updating service. It'll be just pushing a software patch and whatnot. So yeah, this is.
good. Hey, Teresa.
Okay, Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher,
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 6, travel.
Whoa. So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Item number 86, Casey, are you familiar with that? That's a,
I'm not. I'm familiar with it in the sense that it's there. I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of the details as far as this.
well, go back to
Training that-
Victor, I want to see something. So is that coming out of our general fund?
No, that would come. Well,
Or is that coming
that
out,
comes out of the forensics fund.
the forensic fund?
Yeah. So again, what's the dates? June 23rd. I'm not aware of any urgency. So I think especially with us meeting Friday, if it's something you guys would like to look into a little bit more, request some additional information, I think that would certainly be okay.
Might I comment? We can certainly get further information from Jillian, but we need to try to move this forward from the standpoint is, we're running a certified lab down there. We need to stay up with the process. Jillian's not going to go to any kind of boot camp that is not going to help that process work any better. We're working together with the sheriff's office with some other items that I can't give you exactly what's going to happen at the boot camp, but I can only tell you that she's not going to go there to play. She's got a family here, and she's doing it for the betterment of the forensics lab. And I certainly would like to have this move forward
Would you rather have forward today or
today,
Friday?
because I'm not sure when the deadline is to sign up for the boot camp. If there's something like this, I don't want her to miss out. And it might have something to do, quite honestly, with the certifications and different things like that.
I don't
And
want her to miss out on timing either. if it
I
look- if
don't
it- if it
want to
looks
do
like-
that.
Okay.
And if we find out it's any different, we can always rescind the fact of travel. So
Okay.
I will take a look at it. So I'd like to have this move forward.
So you could have it by Friday, or even between today and Friday, get with
we
all
can do
three of
that.
us. Okay.
Is there anything further?
Based on the administrator's commitment to make this work right,
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddle?
aye.
Number 7, bills.
I know, but that's all right. You have to justify it. Oh, I know. Forget it. Okay.
Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. That completes that. Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddle?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Number 8, county commissioners may recess an executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, along with any other matters specifically identified by motion in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 121.22G 1 through 8. Unless expressly stated otherwise during executive session, matters discussed in executive session are designated by the county commissioners as confidential. Because of the confidentiality of such matters is necessary for the proper conduct of government business, any disclosure outside of the executive session is prohibited by Ohio Revised Code 102.03B. While in executive session, the county commissioners may discuss and deliberate on the matters at issue, but no votes may be taken until open session resumes.
Move to approve the personnel summary sheet.
Yes, we will.
I got a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Yes, we're going into executive session, but we can process the personnel summary sheet.
Any further discussion?
Does anybody have anything to add, since it is kind of
Yes,
a big deal today?
At this point,
Now look at you.
I don't know if anybody wants to add anything, but it's always nice to appoint people that are going to improve boards, and it's really nice to have them come and see us work. So I just want to recognize the 2 appointments to the Lorain County Community College are both in attendance today. Yeah, and Ben, you can't hide in the back row. You got to slide up here.
Yeah,
and
he
so-
tried.
So we can get you on camera now. We want the public to see you.
No, he's,
Okay,
you can just wave, right? Hey, Ben. There we go.
okay. But thank you both for coming today, and we appreciate your appreciation of the appointment. So,
Thank you.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddle?
aye.
I don't have any forms for public comment. Is there
Nope.
any old business?
Yeah, I thought, we were discussing on to have May 6th, which is an election day, if people forgot. We were gonna talk about the permissive tax in regards to voting on that today, because we'll be voting on the TB levy funds, suspension. But I'd like to, maybe I believe, let the public know that this Friday, I believe we should put it on the agenda for public discussion and for this board to decide whether or not to move forward. So that's kind of what I was wondering, if that would be permitted for Friday. I'm asking the board.
Could the president put that on the agenda, or do we need do we need a vote to do that?
No, you can put on, for the permissive tax, correct? Yep.
Because we've had 2 public meetings already,
Right.
and so then, and you've already prepared the resolution, I believe.
Correct.
So what we need to do next is have a public meeting to vote on moving forward with or without it, correct?
Yep.
Or under new business.
Okay.
We want to give a little bit of advance notice, I think.
For the public.
If I'm reading the commissioner's intent, just to let people know that their third
It'll
and
be on the
final way
agenda.
to render their opinion is to come to the meeting on Friday.
Okay.
I agree with that concept,
Okay.
and I will work with Teresa to make sure she doesn't let me forget, put it on the agenda.
Thank you.
Is there anything else under old business?
Nope.
You go new business? Okay. Board business. Approve and waive the reading of the county commissioners meeting minutes of April 22nd, that was a public hearing, and then April 25th to 25.
Move to approve?
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 10, authorizing a wage increase for non-bargaining employees identical to the wage increase in the United Steelworkers Local 8845 agreement for employees to include E911, Job and Families, Dog Kennel, Bridge, and any other departments under jurisdiction of Lorain County Board of Commissioners effective retroactive January 1st of 25 through December 31st of 27.
So moved?
Second?
Discussion.
Yes, this is from what I understand, a common process to do this is to do the bargaining units first and then the non-bargaining, to follow behind. We're working with the administration to understand the reason for that process, and to see if it still merits to do that. I'm not a big fan of a lot of retroactive type of things. And so, just to say that we will be working on this for going down the fortune. 2025 is in the books now, but as we go forward with some of the other contracts, I've already spoken to Clemens Nelson about, let's start them on time, let's finish them on time, and let's avoid this retroactive, type of thing, so.
Yeah, Mike, yeah. There was I did get some phone calls in regards from the non-bargaining units, and I don't know, maybe Chris would know more about this in regards to the date of January 1st, that people were hired afterwards would not qualify for that. Is that your understanding? Yes. Okay. So if you were hired on January 2nd, then you would not qualify for this, correct? For the raise?
I mean, that's just been the history that I've been told, is that if you were hired after January 1st, you didn't get the retroactive. Now, I think.
Well, the retroactive I'm okay with, but what about the bump?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I mean, the bump.
Mhm.
So, but I think, if you look at just a few days, I don't know, I think that would be up to, someone else to.
Well, yeah, but then we get caught in the middle of which day is which, right? So was that a county policy or is that a Job and Family Services policy, do you know? Because naturally, that's where I got the phone call from, so.
Being somewhat new to the county, I don't know the history of that, of why that was, but.
How about the county administrator?
I would suggest that we need to do some research on this internally as to how this is, because this honestly could impact more than just one person.
Oh, no, I'm not saying, I'm just saying,
So if you allow us to do
I
some
don't want to
research
do,
and come
I'm
back.
like Commissioner Riddell, I don't like the retroactive and the bonuses. I call them bonuses, but back pay. And here we are, 4 months in, and our budget's gonna get hit with some pretty hefty, amounts.
Well,
My concern is
unfortunately,
people that we've hired, let's say we hired them in February or March, do they qualify for the new bump that the unions got, the non-bargaining unions got? So, and does that, I know you need more research than right now on public.
I would suggest that if you're going to, and I don't know, because I don't know what I don't know if there's a resolution. I have no idea who put it in place. I think that this complicates the issue. I mean, myself, if I would look at it, if you started March 1st, you get retroactive back to March 1st.
Right.
But that's,
that
again,
ain't like that.
I would suggest that that's the way it should or should not
But-
go, but I don't know that, so let us do some
I know,
research on
but
this,
as
Karen and
As you
I.
see with this, as our administration's looking at, every time we see a question, it's good to look at it, fix it, and move forward, so we got it down in writing exactly how we're gonna move forward. So whenever I get thrown a curveball and nobody knows the answer, I at least wanna bring it out to our attention and know that you two can work with our directors and resolve it, because we don't need, again, that could be a policy decision we may have to make to say, maybe the bump comes in, but not the retroactive part of it comes in. Because why would somebody get retroactive pay if they just started, So I think that's a more of your administration to work out. And figure
I would
out.
agree, and unfortunately for everybody in this room, and we are gonna not be here on Friday for the Friday's meeting, both of us are
It
gonna
doesn't,
be
it doesn't
down.
have to be, this is something I think is more of
Okay.
a long, let's try to figure this thing out, and it's a
We
long.
just need to
That's fair.
figure it out by the next pay period, I would
That's
think.
all, yeah.
But I would look at the math this way, Commissioner. If they started on March 1st, then they've worked here for 2 full months and a piece. And if they started January 1st, they've been here 4 months. If you count the difference as 0 hours worked, I think if you pay back to January 1st, then whoever got hired on March 1st or February 14th, they get a proportionate amount of the, out of the back pay in terms of fairness.
Right.
But
My concern is the whole idea of the retroactive.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to be more efficient at getting things done, get the contracts done on time. And when you delay doing the retroactive and you get into these conversations, I have to believe that's a negative on morale and faith that, we're running the county.
I would absolutely agree with you in what you're saying, but being in government as long as I have in negotiating contracts, unfortunately, I don't know, you might start 6 months ahead of time and you're always going after January 1st. And I've not been in any other government agency that doesn't go back to pay retroactive pay,
Well, it's not that.
unfortunately.
Hopefully, we'll be able to negotiate and have it done before January 1st, which is.
I would agree, but I've never seen one in all the years that I've
Out of
negotiated
everybody in the
contracts
county,
that it
Joe,
goes
you're
that
the
way.
man that's gonna
Let's
do
move
it.
forward and do it the right way.
Now, I do know this, that you can actually say, look, if there isn't going to be, and if it's not going well, part of the demands would be they're not going to be retroactive pay. And then you put that in place, and by gosh, everybody is going to negotiate in good faith.
Great point.
That's what we want.
That's right.
And that has been done in previous, but it's tough to do that because of past history of what's happened in this county and this state.
Well, we make people pay their taxes on time, and I think we ought to spend their money on time. And to coin the guy that had the most impact on me 50 years ago, don't give me the 9 reasons we can't do something. Give me the one reason we can.
Well, plus you can't budget based on what the pay increase is.
Exactly.
5 months earlier.
So,
So our budgets are off.
That would have to be part of a tentative agreement, because I'd hate to take that to a mediator or arbitrator to have it arbitrated or mediated, because my fear is, will we be paying the retroactive pay?
Well, thank you.
thank you for the lively discussion.
Thanks.
Anything further?
No.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
11, authorize President of the Board to execute the participation agreement with Costco Wholesale Corporation as part of the ongoing opiate litigation.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Do we have any discussion on this, or?
I don't think so. It's right now, the terms of the settlement are confidential till all the players get in. So all this is going to do is authorize us to stay in there for our share of the proceeds at this point. So for those that want to know the details of the settlement, they're not available yet.
Maybe they are now.
Do you have a settlement?
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 12, forego the collection.
It's,
Thank you, Mike.
yeah. That's who's calling them back there. Do it again, I'm waiting.
No.
3 times the charm.
All right, number 12, forego the collection of the entirety of the .06 mil TB levy funds related to tuberculosis care in calendar year 2026 for the whole territory of Lorain County.
So moved,
Second?
Discussion.
yes. I believe we had this discussion before, in which this will be the last year we have the ability to suspend it, and then the mill will then expire, correct?
Correct.
Okay, because it just, as a history, we had close to $1 million in that account. We moved it out of the Mercy Hospital, gave it to the Lorain County Health Department at probably an annual cost of under $100,000, I believe. And you're looking at, I know not exact for the accounting over there, but, you know, we had close to $1 million sitting there. And we were still taxing people. The lodge, and I'll probably bring in my property tax forms on Friday, just to let people see the difference. And it's not a lot of money, but it's a property tax that we'll be able to, well, again, I can't predict what the board will do next year, but we're gonna have to decide next year whether or not to allow this just to expire and not renew it. 'Cause that will be the next decision for next year, right? No, we won't? Or what?
Well, this.
This is for
in
next
this-
year,
Correct, but this November would be your first crack at renewing the TB.
right?
And then you put it in May, and then November would be the very last one.
Of
So if it
26?
doesn't go in November on the 26th, it's done.
So then it would just disappear. Okay.
Yep.
So we won't even have to suspend it next year then? This is the last
Correct,
time we get
this
to
is-
suspend it?
yes.
Okay,
Because it expires in 26.
okay. Thank you.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Dell?
Aye.
Number 13, amendment resolution 2545 adopted January 17th of 25, authorizing Lorain County Administrator to execute certain necessary documents on behalf of Lorain County Board of Commissioners that may occur in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 305.30.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
No.
Okay.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Dell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Number 14, I'm going to insert something here. So decision to withdraw the expedited 2 annexation of approximately 9.7093 acres in the townships of Carlisle and Eaton Township to the city of Elyria, Ohio. Attorney John D. Clark is agent for petitioner Chestnut Ridge Baptist Church.
So it's the petitioner that's requested that it be withdrawn
Correct.
at this time.
So we're, move to approve the withdrawal of item number 14 of the petition.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Dell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
There you go.
Under Job and Families, 15, authorize sub-grant agreement between JFS and Big Brothers Big Sisters, Lorain County, Elyria, Ohio, in the amount of $82,000 for their summer camp for low-income children. Said payment will be made from the TANF account, and this is effective June 1st of 25 through June 30th of 25.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion.
Yes, I think these are all pretty much the same, right? Under the
Correct.
same. And we do have the director here.
Yes.
Do.
You can,
I think they're all allergic to the podium.
yeah, I know. Yeah. They'll show your good side, Chris, so.
I wasn't prepared for this today, but good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
My name is Chris Cabot. I'm the Director of Job and Family Services, for those of you who might not know me. I do want to talk about a very important initiative and important endeavor that Job and Family Services takes on every year, and that's the camperships for our low-income and underprivileged youth in the community. 629 youth are served in these camperships. We received 7 applications from providers to provide these camperships for our youth. Of those 7, 6 of those were approved. 1 did not meet the criteria in regards to some of the requirements of the proposal, some insurance and some other things that were not in their proposal. So 6, like I said, 6 of the 7. Now, there's only 5 on the agenda today because one of them was a little late in getting the contract returned, so that will be on the next agenda, I believe. So the total for the 5 providers on the agenda today is $701,000. It's a significant amount of money. That money is all temporary assistance for needy families or TANF federal funds that were provided. We're actually provided $5 million each year. These funds are really important to make a significant difference in the lives of, again, underprivileged, low income, and sometimes really behaviorally challenged children. These camps for these kids obviously provide a lot of different things. They provide structure, life skills building, social connections, educational opportunities, safety, and quite frankly, keeps a lot of these kids out of trouble too. So when they're busy all day doing creative things instead of out, doing things that aren't so creative. Like I said, 629 youth are served. All of the contracts that we approved fell within the parameters of the RFP. And like I said, this money is, again, federal money that we need to spend down. If we don't spend this money down, then we risk losing it to other counties that will utilize it for similar things. Other things that we use TANF funds for, just so you know, are things like tutoring, clothing, school social workers, shelter care, and child care options. So the TANF funds aren't just used on these camperships, they're used on a lot of other things, but this is a really important one for every year that we embark on. One other thing about this is that each of the providers that was selected is Lorain is a collaborative of our partner of ours in Lorain County. It's really important that, and all of this money that is being spent on these camps is going to be circulated within our county and provided, so it's every time we look at, embarking on something like this and providing all these funds, we really try to want to keep our county in the loop with getting these funds, right? Because that money continues to circulate and benefits the county as a whole. And with that, I can take any questions that you guys have.
I want to thank you for the overview, Chris. It's always been a concern that even though Jobs and Family Services is state funded with federal resources through the state, there's always been this kind of like it's somebody else's money, but the benefactors of this are our people, our citizens of Lorain County, and just telling us how many kids went and what the expenditure is more information than we've had in the past, and I want you to continue on that path so that people know that we're taking care of people.
Yeah, I mean, being fiscally responsible is of the utmost importance. We realize that there's not a lot of money right now to go around, and not as much as we could even use. So being fiscally responsible is very important. And just, understanding that, appreciation for that, knowing that $5 million is a lot of money. But it's when you think about all of the families and things, and when I come back and do a presentation on JFS as a whole, I think you'll be shocked at some of the amount of money that's spent. But we really need to be careful with this money because there are a lot of good programs out there, so we are very selective about where the money goes.
Before in the past, we've had people apply from outside of our state, and there was a lot of effort 3 or 4 years ago in trying to keep a lot of this money here in Lorain County.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those programs was like the back to school backpacks and clothes. And is this where some of the money is going to be going towards? Because I know some of the people I know, Boys and Girls Club is working with you on those type of programs. And I think one year we had a problem. We couldn't get the program off the ground. And so
Yeah.
I didn't know if you're going to continue.
Chelsea Freeman and her Family Children First Council is doing some of that, and we're going to be, her and I are working together on that. One of the big endeavors and one of the greatest expenses that we have with these TANF funds is just providing school clothing for
Right.
kids and making sure that, the kids that typically might not be able to dress or look as like their counterparts and their peers, that they do have every opportunity to do that. And we're really excited with some of the contracts that we have on that side with some, kids should be, we call it normalization, right? Any
Well-
kid that's in care or that is needy should have the same opportunities as any other kid, and we work hard to make sure of that.
But some of the discussions were not having them all the same color shirt.
That's right.
Because then that stigma would be like, oh, you got, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You understand, so.
You can,
My
kids
unders-
know where clothes
Yeah,
come from.
Yeah, and I like the concept where they would have like wrestling teams come out and help in the volunteering of the disbursement of those. And I don't know if you guys, if you're gonna continue those type of partnerships with, other organizations to help, because really getting that product out to those in need is just as tough as getting the money here. you know?
Yes, yes.
How do kids get into the program, the summer programs? Is it through your office, or is it an application, or how do they sign up? How do they get into it?
The actual partners that provide the camps do a lot of the marketing and facilitation of getting the kids into the camp. But there's, so for example, like one of the big providers is Horizons, and they do a really good job of advertising at all of their. I'm not. Don't quote me on how many offsites they have, but I think it's like 10 to 13 offsites all around. They do a good job of advertising. So there's advertising out there that these camperships are available, and they apply for them, and based on certain criteria and need, they're accepted into the program. I think one of the other things, just to wrap up, is there's always concern about are we getting what we're paying for, and so, and that's really big on my radar, is not just handing out money and saying, okay, do whatever you do with it and we'll see you later and talk to you next year. We built in to the RFP some evaluation expectations internally that we expect them to report back to us. Plus, we have someone from our own fiscal department that personally goes on site and monitors the contract and makes sure that they're meeting the deliverables of the contract, so that we are getting what we're paying for, and that these kids are getting all of the things that I talked about earlier.
Don't say you weren't prepared for today. You must have studied. Because last year we asked the director to, develop an audit process and share it with us so that we know that we're getting the most bang for our buck, that we're servicing, there's likely more than 629 kids that want to go to camp that are in that group. So the question is, how do we stretch those dollars? And the numbers you gave us are roughly about $1,100 per student for the camp, and because the applications come through each individual agency, we want to make sure that we don't have any substantial amount of duplications where one kid's going to 3 camps and there's 2 other kids that didn't get to go to camp.
Yeah. To speak transparently, one of the concerns that I had as I reviewed the contracts, we did have a team of administrators put together to review the contracts collectively and score them, so to make sure that they met all of we didn't just, if you turned it in, you got awarded. But there is some disparity in the price that some of the providers were charging us versus the number of kids that they were going to be able to allow to attend the camp. So I think that for moving forward, I'd like to see there be more consistency. I mean, I know that some of the organizations have higher overhead and administrative costs and things like that we need to take into account. But, and again, the request fell within the parameters of the contract, but I think moving forward, I think we're going to look to be more consistent on what you're talking about as an average cost for a kid to go to camp.
Yes, I would agree. We need these dollars to go to the kids to go to camp, not to overhead.
Right, exactly.
We've also seen that many of these are nonprofits that just do that, which is very impressive.
Yeah, and another thing I forgot to mention too, and I'm sorry I keep on adding things, but is that meals are provided. So some of these kids who rely on school lunches and things like that to get some of their meals will now be able to get those meals through the camp. So
And
that's
is this 5 days a week for these kids?
most of them are, yeah, most of them. I don't know I don't have the specifics for every specific one, so I don't want to speak out of something I don't know exactly, but there's significant, 5 days a week, or at least 3 to 5 days.
Well, you've only been on the job for 90 days. We'll give you a pass, but next year you're not a rookie anymore.
All right, thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you,
Well,
Chris.
thank you for coming in,
Thanks.
Chris.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Dell?
Aye.
16, authorize sub-grant agreement with JFS and Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Ohio, Lorain, in the amount of $150,000 for summer camp for low-income children. Sub payment will be made from the TANF account and is effective June 1st through September 30th of '25.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Dell?
Aye.
17, authorized sub-grant agreement between JFS and El Centro de Services Socials, Inc., Lorain, in the amount of $175,000 for summer camp for low-income children. Sub payment will be made from the TANF account and is effective June 1st through September 30th of '25.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Dell?
Aye.
18, authorized sub-grant agreement between JFS and Tower Educational Consulting Group, Inc., Lorain, in the amount of $94,000 for summer camp for low-income children. Sub payment will be made from the TANF account and is effective June 1st through September 30th of '25.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Dell?
Aye.
19, authorized sub-grant agreement between JFS and Horizon Education Centers, North Olmsted, in the amount of $200,000 for summer camp for low-income children. Sub payment will be made from the TANF account and is effective June 1st through September 30th of '25.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes. I'm going to ask a quick question because it's hitting me here. Don't have to come up. The difference in all these numbers, is it based on how many children they're covering? Is that why you have 94,000 to 200,000?
For the most part, yes. So Horizon is,
Yeah.
gonna offer camperships to 125 of the youth, so a larger number.
Okay.
But again, there are some disparities that I want to take care of. And for example, El Centro, their contract is for 175. They're gonna provide, camperships to 250 of our youth. So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Something for next year. Thank you.
Anything further? Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Dell?
Aye.
Under CBCF 20, award contract to Rivera Roofing Company, Inc., Frederickstown, Ohio, in the amount not to exceed $266,200, which includes a 10% contingency for the shingled roof work project at Lorain Medina CBCF. 5 bids were opened on April 24th, this being the most responsive, complying with specifications, and will be paid from the CBCF capital improvements account.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Yes.
Yes, Teresa, do you want to put this on the overhead? The, Go ahead, Commissioner.
I want to make sure Commissioner Gallagher's happy. We have 5 bids, but we
Good
also,
job.
yeah, well, what I want to at least point out that because of that, kind of exposure, we do have a meeting. I think, who's putting that on, Karen? Is it you or
Dave.
Dave is? Okay, what's the date on that again? Yeah, you're on.
Is May 15th.
Okay, so on May 15th, I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from people saying, we're being very aggressive and going out in the community, saying, we want your business, we want to teach you on how to do government contracts with Lorain County taxpayers' money. And that's what we're doing, trying to recirculate that within the county, so thought I'd give you a little kudos there.
Very nice job. Out of curiosity, how many of these are Lorain County businesses?
So on this contract,
Just if you know.
no, I do not know on this one in particular.
I'm just hoping they are, that's
Well,
all.
this came from the Lorain County Medina,
CBCF.
yeah.
Yeah. During county administrator's report, I'll give an update on that May 15th program.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Awesome. I didn't mean to
Took your
put you on the
thunder
spot,
away,
but
took your thunder, I'm sorry.
Who does the review of the bids for this particular facility of ours? Are we the owner of the building?
No, I think the state is, right? State of
CBCF.
Ohio? Oh, the CBC?
State.
Because I note that in this one, the one that is being recommended to us was the 3rd out of 5 bidders, if I read the tab right. Now, I know that sometimes the low bidder's not fully responsive and doesn't cover all the bases. I'm just wondering who's in charge of that process for this particular contract in case we get any inquiries.
The CBCF has its own board
Okay?
that generally makes those decisions. We're a pass-through as far as the funding source goes, so that's why they always come back to us for the final approval. And the building is on our property, but we don't own the building. I
Okay.
know, it's odd.
I just wanted to give the picture, because anytime you give it to the third bidder out of 5, somebody's gonna have a question. Thank you.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Under the engineer, 21, authorize county prosecutor to proceed pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 163.05 with the appropriation of parcel 13T at 21141 Holly Road in conjunction with the replacement of Holly Road Bridge 0823 in Wellington Township. This is due to 4 additional right-of-ways are required along the bridge, and this particular parcel isn't able to reach an agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Anything to add, Sean?
No, I think it's important to note this is a temporary take, so this will be, we aren't actually taking complete ownership. This is just for grading purposes off of the road edge. So at the end of the project, the property will no longer have the easement on it.
Very good.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 22, execute agreement between the State of Ohio Department of Transportation and Lorain County for the roadway improvements to State Route 82 at the entrance to the proposed Beaver Creek subdivision, Eaton Township.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Number 23, approve and enter a subdivider agreement with Sandstone 2 LLC for Sandstone Mill Subdivision Number 2, Amherst Township. Subdivider has submitted proof of ownership, evidence of payment of taxes, certificate of insurance, engineer's estimated construction cost with approved engineering planning specification, and agrees to bear all costs and expenses of the improvement contemplated by the subdivider agreement and to pay all plan review, inspection, and testing fees.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
County Administrator's update.
Thank you, and Commissioner Moore, you started my discussion, so I appreciate it, and this is a follow-up to an issue that's important to all of you, but Commissioner Gallagher brings this point forward as far as contractor outreach. So to give you an update, we do have that meeting set for May 15th at our Transportation Center. We have sent out over 925 direct emails to various contractors, trades, folks that have done business or businesses within the county, those who have done business with other political subdivisions as well as general businesses within the county. We've also reached out to local trades and trade organizations and asked them to circulate it to their members and their affiliates. So 925 plus there. We don't know what that number is. The posting is active on LinkedIn and our other social media avenues. Press release went out May 1st. A second one will be going out on May 8th. And Brandon Timpke from our team today actually drove around to the various Lowe's, Home Depots, Menards, Ace Hardware, anywhere where there may be trades that might be interested in bidding on this. Put a poster up, a flyer up in their location, encouraging them to participate. So that's kind of the update on where we are right now. There are also other organizations that we're reaching out to, but I want to give you at least an update right now as to where we are. I'll give you another update on Friday. I will not be here Friday. I'll be at the subdivision regulation meeting on Friday. But we'll be able to provide you updated information on the progress of this before the 15th. Any questions? No. I'm trying to speak fast because Karen likes it when I speak fast.
Good job.
The only other comment that I have is that Karen and I have been invited with our team, Lou McMahon, Team Neo, and 3 or 4 others to come down, make a presentation to the state senate, to their president, chair of finance, their caucus finance chair, and others that I'm not sure just exactly that are going to be there to discuss the All Ohio Future Fund and the possibilities of taking the county from a fairly large amount of money that I think we're going to get to $66 million. So our ask is going to be for $54 million for the actual construction of the sewer itself, which is 10 miles long, and the additional money would come for the engineering and architectural work that goes along with that process. We continue to move the west side along. Obviously, there's a need not only for the entire area, but certainly for Vermillion, South Amherst, and the corridor of Baumhart in New Russia Road or Russia Road. Not New Russia, it's New Russia Township at Russia Road. So we're looking forward to being down there. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. It was my invitation that we would come down to make that presentation personally to them rather than do it on a telephone call or Zoom. So we're looking forward to it and bringing success and maybe some more dollars than what we thought we were going to get. We're asking for what we think we deserve. Now, that doesn't include the entire sewer. The sewer is really $73 million. We're already at 25% of that, which is about $20 million to build that. And we do have a full plan to make it all work.
And could you explain, Raptellus, I thought, was doing some of that engineering already.
Raptellus does all the rates and does all the, they're not actually physically doing the engineering. KEM has done a lot of the engineering, and we're working with Matt and KEM and the engineer's office. And that project, I believe, started, what, a couple of years ago? Yeah, a couple of years ago. And because of us putting together the regional sewer district, it not that it came to a halt, we asked it to not go forward until we really had a plan as to where we could place a wastewater treatment plant, a new one, and to put the lines exactly where they should go for the ultimate growth of the entire county on the west side, not just for a specific site, but for the ultimate growth and for all the communities. If they want to participate later on, they will all have that opportunity to come in and participate with us in a regional facility.
We spent, it was back in the day with the ARPA funds, so we used close to over $800,000, and that's what started this project in order to get the ball rolling for the west side of our county. And hopefully that the county and the local municipalities and villages and townships would then be able to control their growth instead of having the developers sweeping in from Strongsville and Columbia, which is fine over there. But the word I heard was, how do we protect our farmlands and how do we control our growth? And this is, I believe, a generational change if you guys can pull it off. I know you went down to December 18th, came back, and I was excited. And it's like now politics in Columbus, is politics in Columbus, as you are aware. And hopefully our team can bring back the bacon, I guess, is what you're doing.
Well, and you, quite honestly, I don't think any other county in the state of Ohio has done as much planning as we have on this. This is 3 years ago that we started this process, and we've been having meetings almost every week for the last 2 years to put this together. It's very complicated. It's very complex. There's an east side, there's a west side, and different sources of funds that we're dealing with. And quite honestly, this is so significant that it changes the whole complexion of the county by offering the services and utilities necessary for the growth of the county. And that doesn't mean the farms have to all leave either. We can co-mingle everybody. There's enough land out there that we can have growth in the industry, growth in houses, and certainly leave farmland as it is if they so choose. And we're looking forward to that transition and bringing, as you as commissioners are going to have, you're part of this process, but we've not had any resistance at this point. So we continue to forge ahead. The only resistance I see is there's too many attorneys involved, but yet you have to get them involved and get all the contracts, including our prosecutor's office.
We are a giant pain in the neck.
I know you are, but there's 5 other attorneys that are different facets of the whole things. And they scare me when they said, well, we want to have an attorney's meeting. What did I say to him alone? And I said, you know what, I better be able to understand it when it comes back, because we're going to have to understand it in layman's language, not in attorney language. That completes my report.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot going on. The whole concept of what's going on the west side of this county, I don't believe we're gonna be having a meeting on May 20th, because, we'll be going out to, I'll let Marty say what the name of the show is that we're going to for all the developers.
ICSC.
Yep, and that's something that this project is we will be promoting, because this is what we have a mega site, we have everything lined up with Team Neo, Jobs Ohio, so many different partners from Columbus. I talked to John, Senator Houston's office. We are in line to get hopefully an additional 10 million from there. We are on the top of the list for that. The state of Ohio has got some money available, but what you're going for is bigger than what we're talking. And I think the partnerships, I know the city of Vermillion is just waiting for us to get that first shovel in the ground so that they can fix their issues in the city. So, I think we went out to that meeting a year ago, February, did we not? And get support from the city council.
7-0 vote.
Yeah, 7-0 vote to at least participate with their $76 million issue out there. And so I know that they're willing to participate financially to connect. So I feel like we're right there on the cusp of something huge for our county. And I know you won't be here Friday to give a report, and I guess we'll let you slide.
I would like to say this, that how nimble we are in this committee. Houston's office from the federal government contacted us, was it on a Friday?
Like on a Tuesday.
And said that we had to have our grant apply by Thursday. And we were actually applied by Thursday. There was that much grease and oil to make this thing go. That's how far down the road are. Mm-hmm. And honestly, Good Friday was that Friday. They had to extend it, and we were the only ones that turned in our project in on time. So I hope they give us extra credit on that.
Well, you were there. I think we made the phone call to the office, and they had to look on the computer, and they saw us. Then Senator Houston's well aware of Lorain County. He was working with us on the mega site, and now we're going to cash in some of that knowledge that he has of Lorain County, and hopefully financially benefit for generations.
And our whole team with Tina Morris and her Fathom AI, the note taker that you got, how fabulous that she put her team together to help us do this, and we had it done. Greenspan's office, we all worked all together, including the attorneys, and we had that thing done in 3 days. And for a federal grant, when you start looking at it, I'm thinking, why are they asking these ridiculous questions? This doesn't make any sense at all. But you know what? We got it in, and hopefully we'll get some money from the federal government from this process. And of course, Bob Latta has always supported us. He put back in the $750,000 that we got last year that was clawed back. Unfortunately, it was one of those clawback things. But the House put in the same, talking with Bob to Dave and Bob's staff. The House put back in that same $750,000 ask into this year's budget in order to get it back to us. And that's how the House handled it. They didn't write new request. They just wrote the request that was clawed back by the government in this year's 2025 budget.
Well, how's the 6119 coming with the legal process?
From a legal process, it's very close. That's why they want to leave us out of the meetings. They want to finish it up because we're always constantly asking questions, and might not be a legal question, but it's one that maybe they haven't considered, and we're going to get it done. I think you're going to be part of that. I would, Lee. I know you're going to be part of that process. I would assume.
The part of the 1619 process?
No, and yeah, you are part of the 6119 process, but when they have the attorneys meeting, I would assume that you will be.
I can't wait.
Oh, thanks. It is, I would say within, well, I want to say 30 to 60 days, we should be having our public meetings, and maybe sometime in May, my guess. We're that close.
We're in May.
Lee, help me here. I mean,
I have to
June?
defer to Kathy at
With
this
May,
point.
you're
She's the one
into
who
the
knows the most
30,
about
but
it.
you're
Oh,
not into
man,
the
I'm telling
60.
you,
Yeah,
it's
I
going
know.
around so fast, so it'll be sometime in June, my guess is.
Okay.
Hey, Commissioner, did I hear you say that on May the 20th, you and Marty will both be at the show?
Well, I'm leaving that day. He's staying because he's coming in late, so we're kind of passing through the night.
Will we have a quorum for the Tuesday evening 3:30 meeting?
I don't think so.
No.
And we might as well announce that we'll be.
20th
We'll
won't
be
be.
canceling that meeting. There's no, we don't have a quorum.
Okay.
But don't talk to each other at the show.
We just can't talk business. It's,
We are,
sell
we are
Lorain
splitting
County.
up. And believe me, I'm not a
I can
fan
only-
of Vegas at
Yeah,
all.
neither-
I'm
well, I
just like,
can't. I can only hang out with Marty too long, so I
Yeah.
can't handle.
Okay.
This is not pleasure. It's work.
So
Oh, but hopefully we'll bring
Teresa,
home.
you can see to it that it gets on our website.
Yep,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Are you guys done?
Clerk's report.
Yes? Okay, I have nothing. Board correspondence.
Move to waive the reading of the board correspondence.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Dow.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
I
New business.
New business?
have something.
Would you?
Well, I hope, many people probably are forgetting about it, but today is voting day for our issues. And I hope everybody that is hearing this will go out and vote if they haven't.
There are a couple of municipal court judges too that will be elected. I mean, it's not a countywide issue, but there are municipal courts
Yes.
in this
Yeah.
county, so.
And issue 2 is on the ballot for Amherst. That's what I gotta go vote on, one issue, and that's it. So,
Well, I can see Jeff and I voted already, just so you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
yeah, just rub that
And you
in.
put it under new business. If you didn't, I was gonna do public comment from this side of the dais for a
Okay.
change, but you stole my thunder.
Glad I did.
I move then to go into executive session for the purposes of getting update on current legal matters.
Or pending litigation.
And pending litigation.
And
I'll
pending,
second
pending,
that.
do we really have pending litigation?
We do.
We're gonna discuss
Ah.
it. Okay, I
Okay.
seconded that.
Yeah, discussion. Commissioner Gallagher. Or Commissioner Dow.
Aye,
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
okay. And for those that
Can
are
we
here,
sign
this,
these now?
this sounds like it'll go about 30, 45 minutes, but we will not have any business to conduct when we return.
That's a nice way of saying,
So everybody
Good
go
to
out
see
and
y'all.
vote.
Yeah, today's the first time I did not vote before I came to work. I was driving to work.
I didn't either. I
I had to do
didn't
something
bother.
this morning. I was like, shit.
I was on my way here. Must be meetings.
Commissioners have reconvened from executive session.
Okay, I guess we're
There
adjourned.
being no further business before the board, we are adjourned.
Okay. And
I was waiting for you
vote.
to say your little spiel.
I know, I was waiting, I'm like.